Phantasmal Flames might be in some serious trouble. If you're planning to invest in this set, or maybe you already have someone pre-order, please watch this video first. There's a couple things we really need to discuss. We need to discuss the elephant in the room with Phantasmal Flames, aka easy pull rates. So we have a couple things to talk about in this video. This video, I do not want to be more than like 30 minutes long. However, this video is going to be split up in 4 chapters. Number 1, I'm going to bring up my concerns with Phantasmal Flames. Number 2, I'm going to be talking about what you should do if you have already pre-ordered it. Number 3, I'm going to be talking about what you should do if you plan to invest in it anyways. And number 4, what I'm going to be doing. Anyways, I don't want to waste your time. Let's begin. Alrighty, so chapter 1, my concern with Phantasmal Flames. My concern is that the pull rates are dead easy. The pull rates are not somewhere in the middle like Paldea Evolved, right? So you've got really difficult pull rates like Evolving Skies and Prismatic, and then you've got like easy-ish pull rates like Silver Tempest, where it's not quite 1 in 1,000 packs to pull the Lugia, but it's more in like the 700 to 900 range. Then you get to the really easy pull rates where you get to like Paldea Evolved, where it's like 500. Now, if it's 1 in 500 to pull an SIR, the set can still be quite investable, especially if it doesn't catch many reprints or it doesn't get cracked a whole ton at the certain time, but then like later on people end up liking it. But where we have an issue is when a main set is like 1 in 200 packs to pull the top chase. That's where you have an issue. You see, Phantasmal Flames is going to be carried by the Charizard, there is no doubt. The issue is that if it's going to solely be carried by that, more than likely all the SIRs are just going to be $30 cards. They're still going to obviously be rare to pull, but they're not going to be worth actually chasing. So the main chase is going to be the Charizard, and it is going to have to be a really expensive card to justify opening up boxes to chase one card. It's really going to have to be convincing. Burning Shadows is worth it. Burning Shadows is worth opening. The Charizard is extremely expensive, and don't even get me started as a PSA 10. It is really, really expensive. But if we're going by patterns with Mega Evolutions, if we're going by patterns with Destined Rivals, first of all, the gem rate should be really good for this set anyways, but also it seems like it's really easy pull rates. So this is my main concern, easy pull rates. First of all, it is the smallest set we've had in years, in a very, very long time. It actually has less SIRs than Journey Together or Obsidian Flames. So you know how Obsidian Flames has like a $60 to like what, $90 Charizard, something like that, around that range? Yeah, so this Charizard could have a very similar fate. Now, admittedly, it will have a lot more demand, so it will not be like $70. It'll probably be more like $200, $300, $400. Even $400 is a stretch if I'm being honest. The pull rates have such a high probability of being extremely easy. Now, we can't be certain for sure, and I'll be talking about later in the video what the safe procedure is to go ahead with, knowing that we can't 100% confirm the pull rates until TCG Player actually drop them. However, we just need to quickly go over a couple statistics. How do I know those the pull rates are going to be easy? Or how have I at least come to his conclusion? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's just quickly talk about the availability before the set has come out. Generally, what happens is packs get opened up by stores getting ready to sell it, or it would be someone who paid a very large amount to get it early from a store, or it would be like a pre-release. Now, generally with pre-releases, it's only those build and battle boxes. There's not many packs. So generally, if we're seeing a lot of the SIR already circulating, it's not a good sign. Like, not a good sign at all. For reference, the Prismatic Evolution Umbreon had around 5 to 10 available 1 week before release. It really was not many. It was extremely difficult to pull. It was like a Willy Wonka like golden ticket. That's literally what pulling the Umbreon was like. Now, here's the thing. This is where it gets a little interesting. The Umbreon pre-sold for about the $1,900 range. However, we're looking at the Charizard and there's sales all the way up to $2,100. Not 1, not 2, but like 5+ sales. However, as all good things come to an end, unfortunately, it did go down. But the thing is, it has gone down so quickly and so sharply, I'm pretty concerned. So the Umbreon, the first month, it ended the month on about $1,700. That's what it ended in January. Then when we got to February, it ended the month at about $1,500. And then when we got to March, it ended the month at about $1,350. So you'll notice that realistically, it only dropped like 30 to 40% over about 90 days. It was very healthy. It made sense. Difficult pull rates, high demand, happy days, makes perfect sense. But we go to Phantasmal Flames, and then you look at it and it's like, hang on, the Phantasmal Flames Charizard pre-sold for more than the Umbreon, and Prismatic Evolutions has over 6 times as many SIRs. Not to mention Prismatic Evolutions is a holiday set, meaning you get way less packs in your boxes that you buy versus a booster box where you get 36 packs. So it's much easier to get packs in main sets. So you look at it and yeah, not sustainable at all. And we're already seeing the early signs of that. So an early sign that it's not sustainable at the current price it's at is it has dropped so rapidly. Now, obviously, no crap, it's dropping rapidly. But the reason why it's so concerning is that everybody's pulling it. When I say everybody's pulling it, we have not seen this many of a top chase being pulled since Obsidian Flames. So for anyone who is new to the hobby, I would just quickly educate you with Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames generally wasn't that hyped up. No one really was looking forward to it because the set was quite boring. However, as a whole, it was a Charizard set, so it naturally had a level of excitement. Granted, it wasn't that crazy because it was just one card. The rest of the set was a complete letdown. However, that Charizard was still chased. It started off at like 300, then it dropped to 200, then it dropped to 100. But here's what happened, and it was very, very funny. So what happened was people would post saying like, oh my goodness, no way. On my first booster box, I pulled the Charizard. Oh my goodness. And then everybody in the comments would go like, yeah, I pulled it as well. Let's freaking go. We're all so lucky. And then people would go, yeah, I pulled it as well. Yeah, we're really lucky. Are we sure we're lucky, or is it just easy pull rates? And that's what basically happened. And then eventually when people realized everybody's pulling it, it made an all-time low of $50 or like $40. It was bad. I think it was more like $50, but it was bad. So what this taught us was that just because it's a Charizard set and just because it's a cool artwork doesn't immediately mean it's going to be extremely expensive. I saw people in the early Scarlet Violet days going like, nah, that's it. This Charizard is going to be the card of Scarlet and Violet. People are saying like, it's going to be a $300 card. It's going to be a $200 card, but no. It can still be a good artwork, 100%, but easy pull rates, it's irrelevant if it's a good card, if it's a popular Pokemon, doesn't matter. If it's a popular artist, it's all irrelevant. You've got easy pull rates and it's GG's well played. You pack up and you leave. So that's my concern with Phantasmal Flames, is there are so many being pulled. It hasn't even released yet and it's already halved in price from $2,000 and we're seeing sales all the way down on the $1,000 range. That is not a good sign to start off with. That is really, really bad. On top of this, like I said earlier, there were only about 5 to 10 Prismatic Umbreons available on pre-order before Prismatic officially released. And this one, there are about 60 to 70 available, which is pretty concerning. But on top of that, about 80 to 90 have already sold across TCG Player and eBay. That is a really, really bad sign. To have so many available, to have every YouTuber pull it, and then everybody in the comments section who somehow got 20 packs early and they're all pulling the Charizard. In fact, I'm actually seeing posts of people saying that they're pulling duplicates. They're pulling multiple. So what it looks like Pokemon have done is they've gone, all right, you know what, Mega Evolutions, we made the pull rates quite difficult to pull SIRs. Prismatic Evolutions, quite difficult pull rates. Decimals, quite difficult pull rates. You know what, we're going to give these people a break and we're going to make a quick set where people can just take 5. They can enjoy a nice cheap card. It really seems like that's what they're doing. For them to make such a gorgeous artwork and then almost like throw it away for it being a cheap card, you can clearly see that they're doing this to keep people happy. It almost seems like a pity, right? It's like, all right, well, look, we know you can't get packs cheap. We know that you guys can't even get at retail. So the best way to fight against resellers is by making a set with no set value. Like making those cards as easy as anything to pull. A small set, a Charizard set, and low set value. That's the best way to do it. And it's smart. Like, it really is. We could see Phantasmal Flames be more available than anything else. So far, the most available set we've seen in stores is Mega Evolutions. When Prismatic came out, sold out within like 30 minutes, continent-wide. Then you go Journey Together. It naturally sold out because it piggybacked off of Prismatic Evolutions. Then we went into Death and Rivals. It didn't sell out immediately, but it did sell out quite quick. Then you go to Black Bolt and White Flare. It's a holiday set. It's not like there's any blisters, so it naturally did sell out. Then you go to Mega Evolutions, and I'm in TCGNOTIFY. Speaking of, if you guys are in Australia and you guys need a Discord server to get notifications from, I highly recommend TCGNOTIFY. You get notifications in-store and online pings. If you want more information about it, I have a video dedicated in the description, so make sure to watch that if you're interested. But if you use my code, which is SamBoy50, you do get 50% off your first month. So from $12 to $6 your first month. This is Australia only. I would highly recommend you use it. I've been using it since the start. They are the biggest in Australia, and there's a reason why. It's very nice to see them start from the ground up, and I could just watch them grow all the way. I'm so happy for their success. They're doing incredibly well, and they deserve it. They're such a good service. But one of the things that I can use this service for is I can gauge or gouge. I forgot which one it was. I think I said gouge, and then someone in the comments said to me that it's gauge, not gouge. So I forgot which one it was though. So now I'm going to say gauge, and just feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I can gauge how many blisters there are available based on how many pings there are, right? So like prismatic evolutions, someone will ping a store and be like, hey guys, this big W has prismatic ETBs. Within 30 minutes, gone. Look, pretty much immediately, right? But Mega Evolution blisters, they're actually surviving multiple days. There's a lot of Kmarts and Big Ws where they actually have Mega Evolution blisters quite available, to the level where a lot of people are trying to sell it and they are undercutting each other, and they're getting so close to retail. So the most available set we've had is Mega Evolutions. The top chasers are like $500, $500. Then you got like, you know, all the other SRs and all those goodies. And it's got such a high set value. It's extremely popular. It's a big hit. Then we get to Phantasmal Flames. Low set value, smallest set we've had in literally years. Easy pull rates, and also the allocations are really solid for Phantasmal Flames. For anyone who is not in Australia, the easiest way to get Pokemon products in Australia is EB Game. Now, generally, in theory, these pre-orders sell out straight away. However, we saw something really interesting with Phantasmal Flames. It indeed did not sell out straight away. Actually, it took many days for the booster boxes to sell out. Yes, that is booster boxes at retail. Somewhat, it's a bit much, but in Australia, the retail is like 200 USD. For us, it's like 314 or 305, something like that. I know technically the MSRP in America is like 150, but that is the cheapest that we get it here. Now, the thing about Phantasmal Flames is it took a lot of days to sell out, but also the UPCs. The UPCs took a long time to sell out. Now, for the record, the limit for booster packs was 72 booster packs, and the limit for the Phantasmal Flames UPC was 1, but then they actually had to up the limit because there wasn't enough selling out. So we can see the product availability. So it really seems like, okay, yes, Pokemon did delay the Phantasmal Flames UPCs, but I think the reason why is because they want to make sure that they have like a plentiful amount. So what I'm trying to say is it really seems like Pokemon is making this set for the people. The best way to fight against scalping is making it not worth it, okay? People want this Charizard. I want this Charizard. I've made it pretty clear. Honestly, I'm not really a Pokemon fan. I don't play the games. I don't watch the anime. I don't collect plushies. But something we can all agree on, whether you're a Pokemon fan or not, is these artworks look freaking sick. Like, even if I'm not a Pokemon fan, there are a couple cards that I love collecting. Like, this card is so cool. I will probably never sell this card. It is such a good looking card. I mean, this is a literal piece of art. It's such a piece of art. It has an illustrator. Like, that is amazing. I get to own this art that was made by an artist. It wasn't like a team. It wasn't like these investors or whatever. Like, it was a human being who made this. You get his name on it. Like, it's just so cool, right? So a lot of people really just want that Charizard, man. You don't even need to be a Pokemon collector to look at that Charizard and go, wow, that is the coolest thing ever. The best thing Pokemon can do right now for the market is just make Phantasmal Flames super available and make it not worth scalping. If we can just have one set where it's not worth scalping, happy days. Now, here's the thing. People will still buy it at retail. There's no doubt. Unless they make like an infinite amount, which they're not going to. Yeah, okay, it still is going to be difficult to obtain. But the point is that if the pull rates are so easy that it's not really worth reselling, they only need to do a couple restocks and it'll be pretty available. It's not really worth scalping. It's not really worth buying 1,000 and opening them up. Hopefully there's a good gem rate so that you're not going to have a $5,000 card as a PSA 10. You can have some cheap SIRs and it'll just be good and healthy for the community. Now, here's the thing. In the investing space of things, this is a really good thing to watch and observe from a bird's eye view, right? You want to invest in sets where they have high set value and expensive top chase. What do you think's better? Having a Charizard that's worth $200 as the top chase, or having a Zekrom that's worth $500? Let's just use Black Ball as an example. Well, it's the Zekrom. ultimately just comes down to the most expensive chase, and then as a PSA 10 and happy days, right? Like that's generally where most of the chasing comes from a set. You're not chasing a master set, you're not chasing the top 5 SIRs, no, you're chasing the top SIR. So in the context of Phantasmal Flames, this is a really nice thing to just keep people collecting in the hobby. They can enjoy it. This is a good break where there's not going to be ridiculous pull rates, ridiculous, extremely hard grading, and yeah, so it's going to be good for the investing space. It's going to be healthy for the market, but not in the way that you invest in it and make money. It's in a way where it keeps the people who are quite fed up just a little bit happy, right? And I can't blame them, by the way. I'm not making it out like these people are villains. Like, if you want to open up packs with your kids, there's like nothing wrong with that. Like, okay, I know in my videos I sometimes make it out like it's investors like versus collectors, but realistically none of them are doing anything wrong. It's just you want both of them to be happy, and once one side gets greedy, collectors or investors, both sides can get greedy. That's where it kind of stuffs everything up. So having a nice balance and having Pokemon get involved, sort of, they're not really, but having them make a set where there's really easy pull rates is really good, not for us investors, but for the collectors, which then keep them in the hobby, keep them happy, and then keeps the whole market healthy, right? Now, before we get to chapter 2, I just want to quickly say, first of all, if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing. By the way, guys, I just want to quickly talk about the elephant in the room. Guys, what the heck? There's like 60% of you guys that aren't subscribed, but it's not that you guys are just popping by. A lot, like I get all the statistics on YouTube. A lot of you guys are returning viewers, but you guys aren't even subscribed. What the heck, guys? Come on. If you're watching my videos and you like my videos, come on, hit the subscribe button. Also, I just want to quickly say, this guy said to me, he said that he watches my content on his TV and he didn't realize that he wasn't subscribed. So just make sure that you are subscribed. So yeah, I had to plug that because whenever I do that, the conversions go way up on a video. So anyways, continuing with chapter 1, let's talk about the Gold Charizard. So the Gold Charizard, in my opinion, is not a thing that's going to carry the set. It's not this kind of thing where you go, all right, well, you know what? The normal Charizard is super easy to pull, but the Gold Charizard is going to carry the set. So if I go ahead and ask you, all right, well, why is the Gold card actually going to go ahead and carry the set? Your answer would probably be, well, okay, if they make it just as rare as they did in Mega Evolutions, it's going to be super rare to pull, which means it's going to be expensive, which means it's going to be something worth chasing. That's not really how expensive chases work. If a card is expensive purely because it's hard to pull, that's not really a sustainable future. Generally, you want to invest in sets where it can have easy ports, but the cards are just so loved that they just have such a high demand, or the cards are hard to pull, but then at the same time, they're really expensive, right? So like the Gold Lucario is almost, not quite, but almost double as hard to pull as the Umbreon SIR from Prismatic Evolutions. Now, this is the thing. You've got to think to yourself, all right, well, hang on. For every one Gold Lucario, there are practically 2 Umbreon SIRs. So how is the Umbreon SIR, double the price of the Lucario? How does that make sense? Okay, well, how that makes sense is that no one wants the Gold Lucario. Like, it doesn't have that level of demand where, like, it's not expensive because it has a high demand. It's expensive because it's rare, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not a selling factor. You want an item like the Moonbreon, for example, right? Moonbreon, when that dude came out the bat, it was like $200. Then it rose to 300, then 400, then 500, then 600, and then it stabilized at about 600-ish for a good while. And then it went to 700, 800, 900, 1000. Cool. And then it just kept going up because it has that progressive demand. Magikarp had that progressive demand. It started for like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Then it went to like $90, stabilized for a while. Then it went to 150, stabilized for a good while. Then it went to 200 and then 300, and happy days. You have that healthy demand. Now, the thing about Pokemon is because we've never really had rarities where they're so hard to pull, we don't really have much data to go based off. Something we can go based off is One Piece, which is, bro, speaking of, holy crap, I got a Carrying His World booster box. Now, for anyone who's not a One Piece fan, it's alright. You can always right your wrongs and just become a fan. That's okay. Don't worry, there's still time. One Piece isn't going anywhere, so, you can start watching the anime and start enjoying it. But anyways, I love One Piece. One Piece is sick. Holy crap. I absolutely love One Piece. Oh, man. Anyways, basically, OP13 came out, and I bought a booster box. Thankfully, I got it at a pretty good price. And I love this artwork. It's so cool. But you look at this set and you go, all right, you know what? There is a $8,000 card. Okay, well, that doesn't just naturally mean this is going to be a $1,000 box, right? It doesn't just mean because there's a super expensive chase, oh my goodness, it's naturally going to be super expensive. Now, admittedly, this will be more expensive than other boxes, and this has sold out faster than other boxes. It's more hot than other boxes, absolutely. But it doesn't just mean because it's an expensive chase, it'll naturally do really well. One Piece is a really good example with the manga rares. Manga rares are very hard to pull, naturally meaning they're very expensive. But guess what? Because every single set has a manga, it's not really that special, right? So you go OPO 6, right? OPO 6, for anyone who doesn't know, it's just the sixth set that One Piece came out with. There is one manga inside. It is a gorgeous card. It's Zoro. Man, that card is so cool. Far out. I bought one for 600 PSA 10, and it jumped all the way up to like 16, 1700. I love the card, but dude, I sold it because I was like, dude, I love this card, but I'd just rather the money at this point. I'd rather just buy like a Japanese or something, because like, dude, if I'm collecting it, I just like the artwork. So I'm probably going to get a Japanese one just so I can get a cheaper one. But anyways, point being, with One Piece, anyone who's in the industry with One Piece, you're very aware where every single set has like $700 or $1,000 cards inside, but doesn't just naturally mean it's going to do really well, because the reason why it's so expensive is because it's so rare. Like, I know tons of people who love One Piece, and I think only one of my mates has pulled one manga. Like, I know tons of people who have opened up tons and tons of boxes and blisters and all this stuff, and they don't pull mangas because they're really hard to pull. So that naturally means that they're really, really expensive. So gold cards are kind of the same. If your logic is like, hey, I think the gold card is going to carry it, I'm not saying it's not going to carry it, but it needs more heat. Like, Mega Evolutions works out really well with the gold cards because you've got the Lucario artwork with the Venusaur, which is very popular. Then you got the Gardevoir, which people really love, and you got the Venusaur itself, the Venusaur SIR, which is quite popular, and you got all this other stuff in Mega Evolutions that's really, really cool. And then you've got the gold cards as well, so it's like a nice touch, right? But the thing is, no one's going to open up Phantasmal Flames chasing the gold card. Like, no one is going to do that. Now, I saw a post, and I think this guy said that, like, he opened up however many Inferno boxes, he pulled like 2 gold cards and like 20 of the Charizard SIRs. However, the gold card is only worth like 50% more. Now, in theory, the gold card should be like a $5,000 card. But guess what? It's not, because it doesn't have the same demand that the SIR has. So yeah, that's kind of why they're really expensive. Not really because they have a large demand, but just because they're so rare. So it can help with a set, but it's not going to carry a set. Alrighty, that is chapter 1. Pull rates are too easy and the card is going to dump, which means it's not worth really holding on to. That is pretty much just the TLDR of chapter 1. Alrighty, chapter 2, or I actually kind of forgot what chapter 2 was. I've got 3 more chapters. Okay, let's just say chapter 2 is what to do if you've already pre-ordered it. This can either be retail or this can be secondary market. If you've done it at retail, just hold it. Like, it hasn't come out yet. Just receive it, give it some time for the pull rates to be announced by TCG Player, and then just make a decision then, right? Like, I could be completely full of shit. It could be like 1 in 700 packs, and that's good enough. Like, as long as it's anything above like 1 in 400 packs. If it's anything below 1 in 400 packs, yeah, it's getting a bit dicey. But dude, in order for it to be, you know what's funny? In order for it to be 1 in 500 packs, it would have to be 1 in 100 packs to point SIR, which first of all doesn't even make sense. Judging by the streams I've seen, the videos I've seen, that's just not the case. But that's going to be double as hard as Prismatic Evolutions. So think about it. You know, like all your mates who've opened up Prismatic, do you guys have like a rough gist of how many SIs you guys have pulled? It's usually about 1 in 50. This would have to be double as hard as Prismatic Evolutions just to be 1 in 500 packs. If it's the same pull rates as Prismatic Evolutions, you pack up and leave. Like, GG's well played. You sell it at whether you can get a market price, and you just put it into Prismatic. Put it into Desert House. Put it with something that has a nice track record of the cards actually holding their price. Anyways, so yeah, if you bought out retail, you do have a bit of leniency because realistically, it's probably not going to drop below retail. In fact, it's probably not even going to be retail. But it's not like it's just going to be ETBs everywhere and booster boxes everywhere. More than likely, it'll just be like 3-pack blisters or blisters that are like somewhat available. But yeah, so if you have it at retail, just chill. Don't panic sell. You're fine. You got it at a good entry. Now, if you got it at secondary market, yeah, okay. GG's well played. You pack up your bags and leave, in my opinion. This is the kind of thing where you need to ask yourself, are you happy to lose a lot of money? Now, when I say that, I mean that if you buy a booster box for $300 and then you go, you know what, I don't want this booster box anymore, I'm going to sell it, you don't break even. You don't get to sell that booster box at $300. No, you have to sell it at $260. Or you can sell on eBay and just cop $40 in fees anyways. So the whole idea that like, oh, it drops by 5%. Okay, I'm only down 5%. Or it dropped by 10%. I'm only down 10%. No, because when you go to sell it, you will incur fees, right? Like that's like consignment companies, right? You get paid like 87%. So if you go with like the best consignment companies, dude, you're still down like 13% if the price doesn't even change. So my question to you is, how happy are you to risk a lot of money? And when I say this, I don't want to be fear mongering at all, okay? I don't. However, you've got to think to yourself, if it's not worth opening, it's going to rapidly dump. And when I say rapidly dump, I'm not saying it's going to go to like $100 or 150. No, it's still probably going to be like 250, maybe even $300. But it's going to be dead in the water. Like, I want to be clear, if a couple months go by and then you look back at this video and say, wow, time to unsubscribe. This guy is clearly full of shit. It was $300 at pre-release and it's still $300. It hasn't dropped. First of all, you're still down money because when you go to sell, you will incur fees. So when you actually buy a box, depending on what marketplace you bought it at, let's just say you bought it on eBay and TCG Player, you're automatically down on your money until it eventually goes up about 13%. Then you've broken even after fees and shipping if you do decide to liquidate it. So there is just something to quickly think into mind. Now, when you buy a booster box for $100 and it goes to $500, that's not really a problem. But when you're buying it at tippity top of the market at $300 pre-sale, when you don't even know the ports and the card is already half in price, that's where you have a problem. So, yeah, just another thing to think about. Yeah, a lot of things to think about in this video. Trust me, lots and lots of thinking. You need to ask yourself, what is your risk versus reward tolerance like? Worst case scenario goes to like 220. You bought it at $300, so it goes to 220. After fees and shipping, you're down $100 per box. That's worst case scenario. In my opinion, best case scenario, it holds its price and your money's dead for a good couple of years. That's best case scenario. I don't see it doing better than that. I don't see it magically going up. I don't see it magically going up a substantial amount. The amount of risk that you're putting on by buying it at this price is ridiculous. See, I don't really agree with MSRP gang where they say, hey, oh, you only buy MSRP, you don't buy anything more than that. It's pretty... I don't want to say it's dumb logic, but the problem is, what logic is there? Like, when I say this, I'm genuinely asking for anyone who has that logic, like, if you buy above retail, like, you're at more risk. You do understand for, like, most of the time in the Pokemon industry, MSRP is considered overpriced, right? Like, most of the time in the Pokemon industry, if you charge MSRP and that's how you run your store, you'll shut down within months. MSRP is not good enough. For most stores, they generally have to sell for $100 to $110, $20 just to compete with TCG Player and eBay. So I don't really understand where that whole thing that MSRP gives you like a shield where it's magically not going to go under, because history just clearly goes against that. In fact, a lot of time, if you were to buy a booster box at its like all-time low, like 80 or $90, a lot of the time, if it went to MSRP, you would have actually immediately doubled your money or very close to doubled your money. And then if it goes to like 300, which is currently at, you would have like 4x your money practically. So yeah, it's just something to think about. It's a really tight position with Phantasmal Flames because you're buying it so expensive and you're really like everything is hedged against you. It's a small set. The cards inside other than the Charizard are not popular. The Charizard is getting pulled left, right, and center. This set, at least the allocations in Australia, has pretty much been the best since Surging Sparks. I mean, you're really taking on a lot of risk for a small upside. If Destined Rivals, an absolute peak set, Destined Rivals, I could go on for hours. If Journey Together, an S tier, no I'm kidding, but if Destined Rivals can be $370 a booster box, a mere $70 more than Phantasmal Flames, yet this is the best main set we've had in literally years. The best main set, honestly, the best set before Destined Rivals is Evolving Skies, in my opinion, main set. So that means that the last time we had a set that was better than Destined Rivals was, what, 4 years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. Now, on top of that, just think about how much weight. Actually, you know what? Let's just give it a second. Destined Rivals is the best set we've had in 4 years. Really think about that. Just really marinate on that for a second. And then think to yourself, like, what am I doing, man? I'm buying Phantasmal Flames at $300 a box. This thing is... I mean, my videos earn less money whenever I swear, but this thing is literal horseshit compared to Destined Rivals. Like, I mean, for the intensity of the video, I'm more than happy to, I guess, take that loss there. So, yeah, make sure to subscribe, I guess. But this is booster box, an SS tier booster box. And I just want to be clear. If we take Evolving Skies out of the equation, the next one, in my opinion, is Cosmic Eclipse. And then we have to get to X and Y. Like, I don't think Team Up is better. Like, am I crazy for saying it? Is it a crazy thing to say Destined Rivals is better than Team Up? I think Cosmic Eclipse is better than Team Up. I'm sure a lot of people can agree on that. The only difference is Cosmic Eclipse got way more printing, so that is why it's not as expensive. But I'm pretty sure most of us can agree that Cosmic Eclipse is better. Team Up is mainly carried of 3 cards. Cosmic Eclipse has a whole catalog of cards. But just really think about the weight that Destined Rivals holds. Just think about how peak it is. Gen 1. Okay, I'm not going to go on forever about it, but think about that, and it's only $70 more than Phantasmal Flames. Wow. Really makes you regret buying it for $300 if you did, Phantasmal Flames. Really makes you think, you know what? What am I doing, man? I'm buying a brand new set, the smallest set we've had in a while, which historically small sets don't do well. The smallest set we've had in years. Ridiculously easy ports judging by availability and streams and videos and stuff. Wow. I'm really, really betting against the house. And the upside? What's the upside? Like, think about it. What is the upside? If Destined Rivals is only $70 more than $300, really makes you think Phantasmal Flames has got nothing on Destined Rivals. Best case scenario, you can't even match Destined Rivals. So all of these really, really make me lean against Phantasmal Flames for the current time. Of course, eventually it's going to go up. But I just don't... Unless we got some magical, like, one-time printing thing, which I don't really see being a thing, I don't see Phantasmal Flames realistically doing that well. You're really, really taking on a huge risk if you've bought our secondary market. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Probably a bad decision. Yeah. Chapter 2, if you've bought out secondary market, you're really going to have to think about what you're going to do. I can't tell you what you want to do. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's financial situation is different. Everybody's mental strength is different. So we are all tested in different ways. So I can't really speak for you. But just think about what I've said in the last 5 minutes, because I think there is a lot of weight that is... those words hold. Okay, great. We've made it past chapter 2. For anyone who is still watching, I don't know, make sure to comment like... I don't know, man. I want to think of something funny, like make sure to comment hot dogs or whatever, but like, that's just stupid. Honestly, just keep watching the video. Anyways, chapter 3. If you do want to add this to your portfolio, chapter 4 will be what I'm doing. But chapter 3, if you do want to add this to your portfolio, what should you do? Just wait for the dust to settle. Give it 3 months. Give it 3 months. Now, the reason why is because with Pokemon, there is a lot of emotions that go on. There's a lot of thoughts that go on before the set comes out. Once the dust settles, a set is really tested, right? Like, Journey Together. I love Journey Together. I absolutely love it. I'm not going to pretend like it's not getting absolutely clapped. Me personally, I do think it's underrated. I think the enhanced boost boxes will do really well and yada, 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 right? But I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's getting absolutely clapped. I wouldn't blame you if you wouldn't want to invest in Journey Together. Now, I would think it's so bad to invest in Journey Together if you're not buying the enhanced booster box. Please, if you are going to buy the enhanced booster boxes, I still love it. I'm still confident in it. I still absolutely love Journey Together, but it is getting clapped. So if you were buying Journey Together when it came out and you're thinking like, oh my goodness, this thing's the bee's knees. Let's go, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, would you still invest in it if you saw it's made pretty much zero progress on the booster box price? The cards have not really gone up. In fact, they've absolutely declined. Now, I just want to be clear. I still love Journey Together. I'm still all for it. I have not sold a single box. I don't plan to. Enhanced booster boxes all the way. That's what I'm talking about. But at the same time, would you have the same emotions? Would you still have the same positive thoughts? Because like even me, a Journey Together Glazer, I can admit, yeah, it's not an STR set. It's not a phenomenal set. I just think it's a little bit underrated. Plus the enhanced booster boxes being incredibly rare. Like there's barely any of them available, and the set is brand spanking new. Okay, all right, well, we've got some investing potential. But you've really got to think to yourself, all the emotions you were feeling when Journey Together came out, would you share those emotions now? Or Shroud of Fable, right? Like Shroud of Fable has like a Persian, a Houndoom. Maybe when it pre-ordered, you thought, you know what, this set might do really well. Got Team Rocket coming up soon, and we got Persian and Houndoom. Could do pretty well. Would you be investing in it now, right? Like you need to wait for the dust to settle. And it's like, would you be investing in Destined Rivals now that the dust has settled? Would you be investing in Prismatic now that the dust has settled? Absolutely. 100%. But think about it. Like, you didn't lose anything if you waited. Dude, Prismatic ETBs, they're 140. All right, they were 140 on release. Or even, weren't they more on release? It was like 150 or 160 or something like that. Dude, you're actually, if you waited, like, how old is Prismatic? It's 10 months old. If you waited 10 months, you would literally be getting a discount. So who's to say Phantasmal Flames is not going to be cheaper in the future, right? Like the whole idea that you really need to buy now and, oh, you need to pre-order it, you need to be holding it from day one. Why? Who told you that? Why do you need to do that? Why can't we sit on something? Why can't we think about it? Why can't we ponder? Why does it have to be now? Why does it have to be, I'm going to buy it right now? No, you can wait. You can just go ahead and be like, you know what? I really love that Charizard, like everybody and their mother. But you know what? It's a small set, seems to be pretty easy to pull. Okay, I'm just going to give it a couple weeks. I'm just going to see, maybe give it like 3-4 weeks, and happy days. I'm just going to see how it goes, all right? TCG player drop their pull rates. Oh, it's actually really hard pull rates, magically, somehow. I don't even know how that would even be possible. All right, oh, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and buy it. But more than likely, it's going to be ridiculously easy pull rates, and then you're going to go, oh, phew, thank goodness I didn't buy that. Oh my goodness, Journey Together pull rates are 1 in 500. Journey Together got absolutely clapped. Holy moly, the pull rates for this is like, I don't know, however much. So I'm not saying not to buy Phantasmal Flames. I want to be crystal clear. This video is not dedicated to saying don't buy Phantasmal Flames, but this video is dedicated to saying calm your horses. This set is way overhyped. It's got one good card and it seems easy to pull. That's what this video is dedicated to. Now, I'm advocating that you really should wait for the pull rates to come out. You're not going to die if you don't own it on release. You're not going to die if you have to wait a week. Generally, TCG players take like about a week to upload the pull rates. You're not going to lose your house if you don't buy it before. You can wait. Seriously, you're going to save a lot of money if you just wait for the pull rates to release. This video is not saying like, hey, don't buy Phantasmal Flames. No, this video is dedicated to, hey, just wait for the pull rates to come out. You don't know. Like, I could be completely wrong on this. Now, there is piles and piles of data to support that there's a good chance it's going to be a relatively cheap chase, being like $200, $300, and also there's a lot of data backing up that it's probably going to be really easy to pull. But on the off chance that it's not, let's just say it's 1 in 500, like even that is kind of good enough, right? Like it's pushing it, but it can kind of be good enough to go, all right, you know what? It's actually a really good card. Yes, the pull rates are somewhat easy, but at the same time, it's going to have a lot of demand. So there is a bit of that. But chapter 3 is just, if you are planning on buying it, please just wait. Now, if you can get it at retail, completely different story. Like you boo. Just buy it at retail. Like go for it. Like you're pretty much not going to lose money if you buy it at retail. Like, honestly, buying at retail is just a cheat code right now if you can get it at retail. So there is also that. Now we need to talk about chapter 4, which is my strategy. My strategy is, I'm not thinking about Phantasmal Flames. That's literally it. That's the entire video. I don't need to talk about it more. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not buying the Charizard GPC. I'm not buying the Phantasmal Flames booster boxes, ETBs and all that. I literally just don't have the energy to think about it. I just need to focus on Prismatic. I need to focus on Destined Rivals. And holy crap, I feel like every single time there's something new, like I always need to just mention like, hey guys, I'm still working on Prismatic. I'm still working on Destined Rivals. Like a lot of people will buy, 2 booster boxes of Destined Rivals or 3 booster boxes of Destined Rivals and then go, all right, that's my position on Destined Rivals. Let's move on to the next thing. Now, can I just challenge you real quick and go, you know what? Why don't you, however big your collection is, just hold a couple items. Like, for anyone who's new to the channel, I have about 100k in Pokemon, about that range, right? It's only consisted of like 10 different items. You got Evolving Skies Booster Box, then you got Death and Rails Booster Box, Journey Together Booster Box, Paldeira Evolved Booster Box, Prismatic Booster Bar displays, and then Prismatic, I can't do multiple hands, but Prismatic, okay, let's just say this is 5, now the next 5, Prismatic ETBs, and then what, Black Ball Booster Bar displays, then Black Ball White Flare PC ETBs, and that's practically it. I have some smaller things, but realistically, that's it. It's consisted of like 9 things. It's like 100 grand. I really don't want to say that too loud because it's like 1 a.m. I don't want my neighbors to be like, oh, 100 grand. But yeah, so you don't have to have a bunch of different items. Like in the future, when I go to liquidate, let's just say Decimals, right? Let's just say in the future, Decimals goes up a huge amount and I go, you know what? I want to liquidate 50% of my position. Boom. I can liquidate however many booster boxes in a happy days. Like I have 8 booster boxes of Destined Rivals. Sweet, man. That's nowhere near enough. I want 50. I want 100. When Destined Rivals is done, if I don't have at least 50, I'm going to make it work. Like, I just want to be clear, I will have 50. In 2 years' time, or in 2.5 years' time, I will have 50 booster boxes. I want 100, I probably won't be able to get 100. I want 50. That will happen. I have 8, I want 50. I don't care what I have to do, I will be able to obtain that. And I'm not going to stop until I get enough Prismatic. Prismatic, I have 10 booster bond displays. I want 25 Prismatic displays. I want 50 Decimal's booster boxes. I'm not going to stop until I get those. I'm not going to think about other things until I get those. Now, granted, maybe I'll make some small side plays. Maybe I'll buy some Black Ball PC ETBs. Maybe I'll buy a little bit of One Piece, or I'll do a little bit of that, or a little bit of this. But I'm not going to be putting large amounts of making a new position in whatever, right? Actually, I completely forgot about Surging Sparks and Mega Evolution ETBs. I do also have those. Granted, I don't have many of them. I've just got a couple. But the thing is that there's no harm in just holding a couple really good items. I'm not even thinking about Phantasmal Flames. I'm not even thinking about Mega Dream. Oh my goodness, we've got a Dragonite SIR. We've got a Gengar SIR. That's great. I'll come back in a year. I'll come back in 2 years, please. Give me some time to focus on Destined Rivals. Now, this guy commented on my channel. This guy's probably watching this video, so if you are, how are you doing? I forgot your name, so I apologize. Feel free to comment on this video. I'll pin your comment if you comment on this video. But this guy basically said, summed it up perfectly. This is exactly how I feel. He said, everybody, please focus on the new stuff. He said, please buy Phantasmal Flames. Please buy Mega Evolutions. He said, I want all of you to be distracted buying that new stuff so I can focus on Prismatic. That's what he said. And I completely agree. Yeah, okay, feel free yeah, guys, go ahead. Can we have Poking Investing only talking about Phantasmal Flames? Can we have every Facebook group known to man, every Discord server known to man? Can they all please talk about Phantasmal Flames? Go over there, and I'm going to focus on the safe stuff. I'm going to focus on Prismatic Evolutions, on Death and Rouse, proven sets that have done well. Even if Phantasmal Flames ends up being a banger, do you really think it's going to outperform Destined Rivals? Do you really think it's going to outperform Prismatic Evolutions? Like, it may do well, but the chances it outperforms these is practically nothing. Everything is hedged against it outperforming Destined Rivals. I'm going to be completely honest with you. In 5 years' time, I would be willing to bet Destined Rivals is going to be a little bit more than $70 more than Phantasmal Flames booster boxes. Just a random ballpark. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit crazy, but Destined Rivals has fountains and fountains of chases. It's got somewhat difficult grading with the illustration rares. It's got piles and piles of illustration rares. It's got piles and piles of SIRs. It feels like every single, pack you open, you're going to get something. Like, I've seen openings of Destined Rivals, and it's like 1 in 2 packs you get a hit. Whether it's an EX, a gold card, a fuller, an SIR, an illustration rate, it doesn't really matter. You get, such good hit rates. You have a huge variety of cards. Then you got Prismatic Evolutions, you got Master Balls, Shinji Kanda, and then you got Evolutions, and you got all this difficult grading and God packs and demigod packs, and then you get to Phantasmal Flames. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying it's horrible, but it's like, you're really, really, really taking on huge risks buying that. I'm going to end this video saying that I'd be willing to bet in 5 years' time, Destined Rivals booster boxes will be over $70 more than Phantasmal Flames. In 5 years' time, if Destined Rivals is $1,000 and then Phantasmal Flames is $500 because Phantasmal Flames is newer, had less demand, and is easier to chase a top chase, then therefore less packs are getting pulled, yeah, I would not be surprised. So it's just something to ponder on. But yeah, hope this is a good eye opener.